Okay, so this activity is actually going to be a bit similar to one of the activities we did a few weeks ago. If you remember a few weeks ago, we did an experiment with grains of rice within a paper towel, and we talked about forces and pressure. It's going to be a similar idea, so try to remember that one when we talk about this. You should be able to find everything around the house, actually, that you need for this experiment. And the few things that we need is a little bit of salt that I just poured into a glass jar for us, and some napkins, paper towel roll. You can use whatever size you'd like. I'm going to use this big one, um, and a hair elastic. This hair elastic actually is people just use it for their hair, and we're going to use a funnel to pour the salt in, and some type of anything really. It could be a pen, maybe not a pencil, but it could be a pipe like this. Um, Maybe even something similar where it's just round and long. And what's interesting about this is it's very, very similar to what we talked about when we were packing rice together within a paper towel, right? Um, if you remember back to that a few weeks ago, what we did is we filled the paper towel up all the way with rice, and when we packed our stick in, it was even a pipe like this, we're able to lift up the whole jar that the salt was in. So what's interesting there is that was able to have the grains of rice packed together so tight that it was so strong you could lift the jar up. And we're doing basically the same thing, but it's in the opposite direction, where the salt, actually, the grains of salt are going to be packed together so tight, nothing can push through it. All right? And I'll show you what I mean. If you simply take a napkin and you place it over your paper towel roll, like such, and you take your hair elastic to put it around the rim just to hold it in place. When you take your pipe and you push it through once, it breaks in one motion, right? Like that. Pretty simple. It's not going to happen if you put some salt in, and we'll show you what we mean. Same thing, we're going to put a napkin right over the paper towel roll, your hair elastic around the rim, make sure it's nice and tight. I'm going to fill it with some salt, and we're going to do this all over our tray so we don't spill. This is where my funnel comes in handy, and we're going to pour our salt in. Alright, and I'm going to pour this in probably halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway to have a lot of salt in. And we're just going to slam it on the tray to pack it in a little bit, and we're going to try the same thing. Alright, and as you can see, with one motion, it actually didn't push through whatsoever. And the reason why is all that salt, when you pack it in a few times, all the salt gets closer and closer together. And when it does that, it creates enough of a wall that really this isn't able to push through it. Whereas when there was just one piece of napkin or one piece of towel, you could push right through and break a hole.